Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Fowl, which is the 6th Wallace and Gromit movie, but the 2nd feature-length film since Curse of the Were-Rabbit way back in 2005, 20 years ago. Wow. However, this movie is not a sequel to Curse of the Were-Rabbit. It is instead a follow-up to The Wrong Trousers from 1993, where we follow the evil mastermind penguin, Feathers McGraw, as he tries to seek revenge on Wallace and Gromit for locking him up in that short film. And he does this by taking control of this robot gnome that Wallace has created called Norbot, and unleashes him to pretty much try and frame Wallace for crimes that he didn't commit. I can't believe I've never actually reviewed something Wallace and Gromit related on this channel. In fact, this might actually be the first time that I even mention Wallace and Gromit at all, because they are one of the most iconic film duos ever. I absolutely loved their short films growing up. A Grand Day Out, The Wrong Trousers, and A Close Shave, with the last movie that they ever made before this one, A Matter of Loaf and Death, being not my favorite of the bunch, but still really good regardless. And I remember seeing Curse of the Were-Rabbit when it came out in theaters, but it came out at a really unfortunate time when I was in my anti-animation phase. So I definitely remember liking it, but not as much as the 3 short films that preceded it. So when it came to the announcement of this movie and the return of Feathers McGraw, I was actually really excited because The Wrong Trousers is definitely the most iconic of all the Wallace and Gromit films. And it's certainly my favorite of the bunch, mainly because of that penguin. And when it comes to Vengeance Most Fowl, this movie is anything but foul. It is just as good, just as clever, and just as entertaining as the previous Wallace and Gromit movies. It's just as visually stunning as the previous Wallace and Gromit films, and mostly because it is stop-motion animated. Everyone knows that stop-motion animation is a very time-consuming task, and the amount of visual jokes that they're able to put in this movie, or other Aardman movies overall, is very impressive. As there was a handful of visual jokes that got a good laugh out of me. One of them involving cheese, which I'm not going to say in this review because I don't want to spoil the punchline. It's not just the visual gags that are impressive, but it's also the characters. Everybody knows that Gromit is silent. He doesn't say a word at all. He doesn't have a mouth. So everything you need to know about Gromit comes from his facial expressions, and you can instantly tell when he's confused, when he's worried, when he's happy. And the animation is just stellar on Gromit. It's even more spectacular for Feathers McGraw because this is a character that has no facial expressions whatsoever. Like Gromit, he has no mouth, but he doesn't even have eyebrows to move. He just has these blank black eyes that just feature no life behind it, and yet you instantly know what he's thinking, what he's plotting, whether he's nervous or scheming. Like, Feathers McGraw is still just as intimidating as a villain as he was in The Wrong Trousers, but still, he's a penguin, so you can't help but laugh at certain parts of him. Now let's talk about Wallace, because this is the first movie in the series to be made since Peter Sallis passed away in 2017. He was the original voice of Wallace in everything up till A Matter of Loaf and Death. And the voice actor that takes over the role, Ben Whitehead, does such a good job that you wouldn't even notice that there was an actor change. Wallace is just as British and as charming as he's ever been in any of these movies. Although, if I had one minor issue with Wallace this time around, I feel like he's a little dumber than usual, because Wallace has always been eccentric. He was an inventor that really kind of got ahead of himself at points. But there were a few points in this movie where I found him to be a little more ignorant than usual. Nothing that really ruins the movie at all, but I thought it was kind of a step down for this character. And another small issue I had with the movie is that for being called Vengeance Most Fowl, and this being the big return of Feathers McGraw, he's not really in the movie a whole lot. You can definitely feel his presence, but most of the movie follows Norbot and his antics. And it sounds like I'm criticizing Norbot and saying, oh, I don't like this character at all. I don't. He has his funny moments, and the idea of this character is funny. but I would have liked to see a little more Feathers McGraw. Although I gotta say, by the time we get to the end of the movie, I won't say it ends on a cliffhanger, but it's not really a clear resolution for what happens in the end. Again, I won't say it. I feel like this might not be the last that we see of this character. Overall, this is my least favorite of everything Wallace and Gromit related, but considering how excellent all of these movies are to begin with, that's not really much of a criticism. It's still got all the visual jokes that you'd expect from Aardman animations. The music is great, especially when you hear the Wallace and Gromit theme. The characters are just as great as you remember them, and it's a lot of fun, so it's easily worth seeing in your lifetime. Technically, this was a movie that came out in 2024, because while it got released on Netflix this weekend, it did air on the BBC in the UK back in December. Even if I had seen this movie before making my top 10 list, it still wouldn't have made the cut just because I like those other 10 movies more than this. But again, it's a great movie and more proof that last year was a great year for animation. And there you go, that's my review for Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Fowl. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I also want to give a special thank you to my subscribers and YouTube members. If you want to help support the channel financially and get access to perks that nobody else gets, you can join via YouTube memberships for as little as $1.99 a month. But until next time, I want to know what you guys think about Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Fowl. Whatever your opinions are, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. If you want to find me elsewhere on the internet, you can do so via these social media platforms and my theme park and travel channel right here on YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.